everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Angeli. This is Alpha Human Talks. How is everyone doing? If you haven't followed me or you haven't liked or subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Go on, click the subscribe button and follow me. Here I try to have conversations and talks that can and should lead to actions for all of us. So if there's anything you think is interesting for us to interrogate and talk about, I will go away and do my research and my reading and come back and we'll have a conversation about it. Most importantly, the talks should lead to actions. Today I wanted us to talk about a few things that concern women, and but I'm going to be interrogating more on the level of I'm going to go drop it down to young women, and I'm titling this "Dear Young Woman" because interestingly, as you would know, women face a lot of barriers. For young women, there are at least two things: that you're young and you're a woman. So it's a lot. Now I interrogated all that, and I did an investigation, and I have a documentary that I did that actually covers as much as possible regarding the barriers that young women face in leadership. So you can go to my description box below and watch the documentary. A lot of very good minds were able to shed more light on what they feel the barriers are for young women to get into leadership. Young women getting into leadership is something that even the UN is really encouraging. There's an intergenerational gap that needs to be closed. But before I go into what I want to share with young women today, I wanted to say that it's not as if it's impossible for young women to lead. It's not impossible, but the country that we're at needs to adjust and change what's happening. If you go across the world and you look at what's happening elsewhere, you find out that young women have actually been leading. Yes, they've been leading. If you go to Finland, for example, Finland has one of the world's youngest prime minister, and the members of her cabinet are at least on the average of 35 years old. She's a woman, and she's doing well in her country. You go to New Zealand. Jacinda is 40 years old, but she became prime minister in her 30s. And Jacinda, in leading New Zealand, has successfully, the first time the COVID-19 pandemic started, Prime Minister Jacinda got that to a standstill, and she did that with skills that women are always, should I say, always insulted for. You're too emotional. But her emotions and her empathy worked, and the whole country were able to connect, and the coronavirus pandemic was reduced. And then you say, okay, if you think like, okay, Angeli, well, that's, it's outside the country, it's different. If you think like that, you are actually right to think like that. But I would say that, it's already happening in Africa, not far away from us, Nigeria. You have Mali, you have Zimbabwe, and you have ministers, young women who were appointed as ministers. You have Miss Coventry in Zimbabwe, you have Bogolo in Botswana, and you have Miss Kamara in Mali, who were appointed as ministers in African country. And when you come back home, young women are definitely able to lead. We are able to lead and make things different. And as you can see in the most recent protest, EndSARS protest, which is about ending police brutality in Nigeria, a group of amazing young women came up and under the coalition, feminist coalition, and they did amazing, tremendous work, supported the protesters in every way that they could, raised funds, and all of that. The accountability was excellent, and they were all young women. So they're young women. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. And I also feel like you and I need to keep getting ready, because they have to pass the baton down someday. The amazing women in the parliament, the Nigerian 9th Assembly, for example, amazing women, maybe there's less than 6% of women in the Nigerian parliament. But researching on how on each of them, and I realized that, hang on a second, I mean, the youngest person at the moment in the parliament is a woman, is Senator Uche Ikunife. She's 50 or 51 years old, but at least the youngest is 50. And when you do a little bit more research, you realize that, I mean, maybe in 2 terms of 8 years, but then you take it back and shout, this lady would have started this journey into leadership when she was in her 30s. Yes, when she was in her 30s. So what's going on? What is going on? Yes, we can come back to what's going on later. But first of all, this is what I want to share with us, dear young women. Let's get ready and get prepared. The few skills I would suggest that we keep learning and developing on. It's different from the major skills, that in terms of your career or your workspace or businesses that you're developing, but there's some other skills I want to encourage you and I to go away and keep on developing. The first thing is we have to get comfortable speaking up. I know it's not going to be easy speaking up, but you have to get comfortable with it. Speaking up has its consequences, and I might say lots of consequences, but you have to still speak up anyway. But the thing about speaking up for me is, what is your intent? What is your motive in speaking up? Are you trying to change lives? That's really what it is. Whenever you want to speak up about something, what is your intent? What is your motive? But we need to get comfortable speaking up. Most of the time you might be shut down. You would have varying opinions. We're all diverse, so expect opinions that will be different from yours. Those opinions will be coming from their own level of understanding, their own degree, their own knowledge. That's where they're coming from. But as somebody who is a young woman who's learning and growing, be open to other people's opinions, and you know which one to take along and which one to dish. But what we cannot do is to stop speaking up. It's not going to be easy to speak up. So if you're the kind of young woman that feels like you have a voice, you want it to make it heard, just know at the back of your mind that sometimes you will be interrogated, sometimes you'll be shut down, sometimes consequences will follow. But if you look around the world, the people who are making a change and getting all the Nobel Peace Prize and who are making great, huge difference are those who are speaking up. Not everybody can speak up. So if you choose to speak up, make it loud and make it count. Number 2, I would say, be honest with yourself, about what you know and what you do not know. We're quick to always share our opinion. There's nothing wrong with sharing your opinions, but I keep training myself in sharing my opinion or my thoughts on something I am sure about. So I'm the kind of person that will always ask questions. I want to know more. And I want to just know more before I make an informed decision or make an informed opinion about something. And when I make that informed opinion, I still give myself a little bit of room to grow, because that opinion might change the next day because of 1 or 2 shifts. But if you don't know something, be honest and say you don't know it. But the one you know it very, very well. Be sure about it. Be 100% about it, but still give yourself room to know more about what you know. The third thing I want us to talk about today is having confidence. I know it's relative, okay? Confidence comes and goes. But it's good to have the baseline confidence, right? Confidence is bravery. Confidence is knowing yourself. Confidence is knowing your insecurities or your failings and things that you're probably not good at, but understanding how to work within them. And then so far in my young life, there are different situations that your confidence will be tested. It will be tested, but there are different ways where you know that it's also an opportunity for you to increase capacity and keep building more of your confidence. So, dear young women, have confidence. The 4th thing is listen. There's a lot of things you gain from listening more. Listen more. Give yourself the opportunity to listen to what everybody has to say. You don't have to necessarily be the first person to speak all the time. Give everybody the opportunity to say what they have to say, and You say what you need to say. And if somebody else has said what you had to say, you just say, oh yeah, I actually hang on that point, and you talk about what your own point is. But listening is quite good. Listening in leadership is an amazing skill to have. There, young woman. You need to listen to be able to know how to resolve people's issues or resolve people's problems or know people's pain points. Listening can give you a better understanding of the matter and the situation, and can even, help you talk less. If it is that you don't need to talk, then you don't need to talk. So I would say listen to what everybody has to say. Listen more. The fifth one is challenge your schedule. Now this is quite tough. As a young woman, this is quite tough because a lot of things coming in. For me, challenging my schedule has actually quite been oof. I mean, I started this YouTube channel before the end of last year, and my schedule has been challenged, and I'm doing my best to make sure that every week, as I have promised myself, I will put out an educational video out there. At least one person or two people will learn something from this. My schedule was challenged because it's a lot, but I'm finding that when you challenge your schedule, you have the opportunity to grow, you can increase your capacity, and you can focus your mind on things that add more value to you per time. And if it is that you also challenge your schedule, you can also schedule things that give you fun, and just make sure that your priorities are quite right at that point in time, because schedules will definitely change as we grow and develop as women. Our schedules change, but keep challenging and keep seeing what else that you can put in so that you can get yourself to where you need to be. I also want to talk about us young women. Stop whining. If you don't need to whine about stuff, please don't whine about stuff. Or let me say, productive whining. Whine productively. Whine, like complain productively. Whine about things that are not working in the country Nigeria. Whine about the way young women and girls are being treated. Whine about how women are not enough in the parliament. Whine about things that have to do with social change. I would encourage you to whine about things, but know when to stop whining, because going back to whining, you have to ensure that you look after yourself, your mental health. That, whine, but find a solution to your whining. Okay, so I want to talk about the past. There's some things that as young women, we need to live in the past. Yes, there's some great things that happened to us in the past, and we can bring to the present and reflect on memories and all that. But the things that constantly take away your joy and your peace, or make you feel belittled or less, no need to try not to dwell on it. There's no need to dwell on it. So there's some past you should leave in your past. They came for a reason. They made mistakes, fair enough. Just jump and move. So leave some past in the past. Take away the ones that would help you as you move along and you move forward. Now be consistent. Now be consistent, dear young woman. Be consistent in the things that you want to do. It's quite important for you, because you want to reach a goal. You have a purpose why God sent you to this earth. Please be consistent on it. Do your best to be consistent on that. Consistency pays. Consistency in speaking up, consistency in studying, consistency in reading, consistency in developing yourself. It pays. Please be consistent. Prioritize sleep as well. Oh my God, I usually go through moments where I lack sleep. I'm not gonna lie. And I know what that does to my body, my mind, my brain cells. But prioritizing sleep is also quite helpful. Prioritizing sleep and watching the things that I consume per time. Yes, I have to prioritize sleep, and I encourage you, young woman, to prioritize sleep. And I want to encourage you as well, then at this particular point in time, that there's a place for you and I in this universe, in this planet Earth. There's a purpose that you and I need to achieve, and we will achieve that. It's not everybody would probably be in a position to use their voice to speak up the way we think, but there are different methods of speaking up. Now, social media, from your platform, your circle of influence, you can speak up about a matter of concern and follow it through. The women the amazing women in parliament today is not enough, but they spoke up and they're still speaking up. And they started doing it at their 30s, maybe some people said at their 20s. And this is why I want to give a huge shout out to the young women who ran for elections as well. They gave it a try. They went and they did the work because they have a voice and they want to challenge things, and they haven't stopped from their different platforms. They're still challenging, they're still interrogating mindset and questioning mindsets and trying to change the narrative. The baton will be passed on. The goal of this video is to ensure that you and I are ready. When that baton is going to be passed on, you and I are ready to not just receive the baton, but make a better difference than what we met. And that is all I have for us today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Alpha Human Talks with me, Annalie. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, and I hope that you keep safe, look after yourself. Please wear a mask, sanitize. All right? God bless.